Good morning/afternoon/evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that touches us all at some point in our lives: comparison. In a world where we are constantly surrounded by others' successes, curated lives on social media, and societal expectations, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our worth against someone else's. But let me tell you this: don't compare yourself to anyone. Vulnerability is often misunderstood. Many people associate it with weakness, failure, or even shame. We are conditioned to believe that being vulnerable makes us susceptible to judgment, rejection, or ridicule. But in truth, vulnerability is one of the most courageous acts we can ever engage in. It takes immense strength to show up as your authentic self in a world that constantly tells you to be something else. Vulnerability is not about exposing your weaknesses. It is about embracing your humanity, your imperfections, and your unique story. Think about it for a moment. What would life be like if we all hid behind masks, pretending to have it all figured out, pretending to be perfect? We would live in a world devoid of connection, empathy, and understanding. Vulnerability is the thread that weaves us together as human beings. It allows us to relate to one another on a deeper level, to say, I see you, I hear you, and I understand you. Without it, we build walls instead of bridges. Yet being vulnerable is not easy. It requires you to step into uncertainty, to risk being judged or misunderstood. It asks you to silence the inner critic that says, what if I'm not enough? What if I fail? But here's the paradox. The very act of being vulnerable is what makes you enough. When you embrace your true self, flaws and all, you give others permission to do the same. You create a space for genuine connection, where authenticity thrives and superficiality fades away. Vulnerability also means being willing to take risks, to try and to fail. It's the artist putting their work out into the world knowing it might be criticized. It's the entrepreneur launching a new idea knowing it could fail. It's the person expressing their feelings knowing they might not be reciprocated. Every act of courage involves vulnerability because it means stepping outside your comfort zone and facing the unknown. But in that space of uncertainty lies growth, learning, and transformation. Let's not forget that vulnerability is also the birthplace of joy, love, and belonging. You cannot fully experience these things without opening yourself up to the possibility of hurt. To love is to risk heartbreak. To trust is to risk betrayal. But the alternative, living a guarded, disconnected life, is far more painful. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you invite the full spectrum of human experience into your life. You embrace the highs and the lows, the beauty and the pain, knowing that they are all part of what it means to be alive. Imagine standing in a room full of people and sharing a story about your struggles, your fears, or your failures. It's terrifying, isn't it? But it's also liberating. In that moment, you realize that you are not alone. Others resonate with your story because they too have faced challenges and doubts. Vulnerability breaks down barriers and reminds us that we are all in this together. It's important to remember that vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing or exposing yourself indiscriminately. It's about choosing courage over comfort, authenticity over approval. It's about showing up fully in your life, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. When you do, you unlock a power within you that is far greater than the fear of being judged. Dare to be vulnerable. Dare to show up as your true self without the need for masks or pretenses. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because when you embrace vulnerability, you discover a strength you never knew you had. You become a beacon of authenticity in a world that desperately needs it. And in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but also inspire others to do the same. Self-acceptance is one of the most profound gifts you can give to yourself, yet it's also one of the hardest to embrace. We live in a world that constantly tells us who we should be, how we should look, and what we should achieve. From a young age, we are inundated with messages that suggest we are not enough as we are. Social media, advertisements, and societal expectations all push us to strive for an unattainable version of perfection. But the truth is, chasing after someone else's idea of who you should be will never bring you peace. True fulfillment begins when you accept yourself for who you are, flaws, imperfections, and all. Self-acceptance is not about settling or giving up on growth. It doesn't mean you stop striving to be the best version of yourself. Instead, it means recognizing and embracing where you are right now, in this moment, without judgment or criticism. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, this is me, and I am worthy of love and respect just as I am. It's about giving yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, to have bad days, and to not have everything figured out. Far too often, we place conditions on our self-worth. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I lose weight, or I'll feel good about myself when I get that promotion. But the problem with conditional self-acceptance is that it keeps you in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. There will always be another goal to achieve, another milestone to reach, another area where you feel you fall short. This cycle creates a constant undercurrent of self-criticism, which only serves to erode your confidence and well-being. True self-acceptance begins with acknowledging that your worth is not tied to your accomplishments, your appearance, or the approval of others. You are valuable simply because you exist. Your unique experiences, thoughts, and emotions are what make you who you are, and no one else can replicate that. When you accept yourself, you stop seeking validation from the outside world and instead find it within. This doesn't just improve your relationship with yourself, it also strengthens your connections with others. When you show up as your authentic self, you invite deeper, more genuine relationships into your life. Self-acceptance also means letting go of the need for perfection. Perfectionism is a heavy burden to carry. It keeps you stuck in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. Nobody has it all together, no matter how it may appear on the surface. When you release the need to be perfect, you free yourself to take risks, try new things, and live a fuller, more meaningful life. It's important to understand that self-acceptance is not a one-time event, it's a practice. There will be days when it feels natural and easy, and there will be days when it feels like an uphill battle. On those difficult days, it's important to be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself as you would a close friend. Would you berate a friend for making a mistake or falling short? Of course not. You would offer them compassion and understanding. You deserve that same kindness from yourself. One of the most transformative aspects of self-acceptance is the way it changes your relationship with failure. When you accept yourself, you no longer see failure as a reflection of your worth. Instead, you see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. You recognize that your mistakes do not define you. They are simply a part of the journey. This shift in perspective allows you to approach life with greater resilience and confidence. Moreover, self-acceptance empowers you to set boundaries and prioritize your well-being. When you truly value yourself, you stop saying yes to things that drain your energy or compromise your values. You become more intentional about the people you surround yourself with, the commitments you take on, and the way you spend your time. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and self-acceptance is the key to keeping your cup full. As you embrace self-acceptance, you'll begin to notice a sense of freedom, a freedom to be yourself, unapologetically. You'll stop comparing yourself to others because you'll understand that your journey is uniquely yours. You'll stop seeking approval from those who don't see your worth because you'll know deep down that their opinions don't define you. And most importantly, you'll stop holding yourself back from living fully because you'll recognize that you are deserving of joy, love, and success exactly as you are. The path to self-acceptance isn't always easy, but it's worth every step. It's a journey of unlearning the lies you've been told about who you should be and rediscovering the truth of who you are. It's a process of letting go of judgment, comparison, and self-doubt, and embracing the beautiful, imperfect, and irreplaceable person that you are. When you accept yourself, you unlock a life of greater peace, fulfillment, and authenticity. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. Comparison is one of the most pervasive traps we fall into, and it can have a profoundly negative impact on our lives. It often starts subtly, almost innocently. You see someone excelling in their career, achieving personal milestones, or presenting a seemingly perfect life on social media, and suddenly you start measuring your own life against theirs. What begins as a fleeting thought can spiral into a pattern of self-doubt, insecurity, and dissatisfaction. The danger lies in how comparison distorts our perception of ourselves and the world around us. One of the most harmful effects of comparison is that it shifts our focus away from our unique journey. Each of us is on a path shaped by our individual circumstances, experiences, and choices. When you compare yourself to someone else, you lose sight of this truth. You begin to view their achievements as a standard you must meet, even though their journey has no bearing on yours. It's like comparing apples to oranges. They're different, and that's okay. But in the comparison trap, we forget this and start believing that someone else's success diminishes our own. Comparison also feeds into a mindset of scarcity. It makes you feel like there's only so much success, happiness, or love to go around. If someone else has it, you think there's less available for you. This scarcity mentality creates unnecessary competition and resentment, and it blinds you to the abundance in your own life. The truth is, someone else's achievements do not take away from your potential. There is enough room in this world for everyone to thrive in their own way. Social media has exacerbated the problem of comparison. We scroll through carefully curated posts, seeing only the highlights of other people's lives. We see the vacations, the promotions, the picture-perfect families, and the flawless appearances. What we don't see are the struggles, the failures, and the mundane moments that make up the rest of their lives. Yet we compare our messy, unfiltered reality to their polished highlights, and we come up short every time. This distorted view fuels feelings of inadequacy and creates unrealistic expectations for ourselves. Another danger of comparison is that it often leads to a cycle of self-criticism. You start questioning your abilities, your choices, and even your worth. You focus on what you lack instead of what you have. This constant self-criticism erodes your confidence and makes it difficult to appreciate your own progress. It's as if you're running a race, but instead of focusing on your lane, you keep looking at the runners beside you, losing your pace and momentum in the process. Comparison doesn't just harm your relationship with yourself, it can also strain your relationships with others. When you constantly compare, you may feel envious or resentful of those who seem to have what you want. This can create distance, tension, and even bitterness. On the other hand, comparison can also make you feel superior, leading to arrogance or judgment toward others. In either case, it disrupts genuine connection and mutual support, replacing them with competition and insecurity. Breaking free from the comparison trap requires a conscious effort to change your perspective. First, remind yourself that everyone's path is different. What works for someone else may not work for you, and that's okay. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it deserves to be honored. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Focus on your growth, your progress, and your goals. Gratitude is another powerful tool for combating comparison. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. You begin to see the blessings in your life and appreciate them for what they are, rather than in comparison to someone else's. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment and reminds you that your worth is not determined by external achievements or possessions. It's also important to limit your exposure to comparison triggers. If social media makes you feel inadequate, consider taking a break or curating your feed to include content that inspires and uplifts you. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your successes and encourage your growth, rather than those who make you feel like you're not enough. Perhaps most importantly, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you catch yourself falling into the comparison trap. Recognize that it's a natural tendency, but not a helpful one. Remind yourself that you are doing the best you can, and that is enough. Celebrate your strengths, acknowledge your progress, and give yourself credit for the effort you're putting in. Life is not a competition, it's a journey. The danger of comparison lies in its ability to distract you from that journey, to make you feel like you're not good enough, and to rob you of joy. But when you let go of comparison, you create space for gratitude, connection, and self-acceptance. You begin to see that your value is not determined by how you measure up to others, but by the unique contributions you bring to the world. You start to live with a sense of freedom, knowing that you are enough just as you are. Gratitude is a transformative practice that has a profound impact on how we view ourselves and the world around us. At its core, gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. It grounds us in the present moment and encourages us to acknowledge the abundance in our lives, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem. This shift in perspective is essential for building and nurturing self-worth, because it reminds us that our value is not tied to external achievements or possessions, but to the intrinsic richness of who we are and the experiences we have. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become consumed by a sense of inadequacy. We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need to have more, do more, and be more in order to be valued. This relentless pursuit of more can leave us feeling like we are never enough, perpetually chasing a sense of worth that always seems just out of reach. Gratitude acts as a powerful antidote to this mindset. It reminds us that we are already enough, and that our lives are filled with blessings that often go unnoticed. When we practice gratitude, we begin to recognize and celebrate the good in our lives, even amidst challenges. It helps us to see that our worth is not defined by the opinions of others, the number of accomplishments on our resume, or the material possessions we own. Instead, it is rooted in the love we give and receive, the kindness we show, and the resilience we demonstrate in the face of adversity. Gratitude helps us to honor these qualities within ourselves, fostering a sense of self-worth that is grounded in authenticity and inner peace. Gratitude also has a unique way of quieting the voice of self-doubt. When we focus on the things we are grateful for, we create a mental shift away from comparison and criticism. Instead of fixating on what we believe we are lacking, we start to appreciate what makes us unique and valuable. This practice cultivates self-compassion, allowing us to acknowledge our strengths and celebrate our progress without judgment. And this way, gratitude becomes a tool for silencing the inner critic and reinforcing a positive and nurturing relationship with ourselves. Moreover, gratitude deepens our connection to others, which is a critical aspect of self-worth. When we express gratitude toward the people in our lives, we strengthen our bonds and create a sense of belonging. Feeling connected and valued within a community or relationship reinforces our sense of worth, reminding us that we matter to those around us. Gratitude also encourages us to see the best in others, which can in turn help us see the best in ourselves. It creates a cycle of positivity and mutual appreciation that elevates everyone involved. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is its ability to foster resilience. Life is filled with ups and downs, and our self-worth can often be shaken by setbacks or failures. Gratitude helps us to find meaning and perspective in these moments. It reminds us that even in difficult times, there are still things to be thankful for, lessons to be learned, relationships to cherish, and opportunities to grow. This perspective allows us to navigate challenges with greater grace and confidence, reinforcing our belief in our own strength and value. Gratitude is not just about acknowledging the good in our lives. It is also about recognizing our role in creating that good. When we take time to appreciate our accomplishments, our efforts, and the qualities that make us who we are, we begin to see ourselves as active participants in our own happiness and success. This realization is incredibly empowering. It shifts the narrative from "I am lucky" to "I am capable," reinforcing a sense of agency and self-worth that is both motivating and affirming. Practicing gratitude doesn't require grand gestures or perfect circumstances. It can be as simple as taking a moment each day to reflect on 3 things you're thankful for. These might be as significant as a supportive friend or as small as a warm cup of coffee on a chilly morning. Over time, these moments of reflection add up, rewiring your brain to focus on the positive aspects of your life and your own intrinsic value. Gratitude journals, mindfulness practices, and even verbal expressions of thanks are all effective ways to cultivate this habit. The more you practice gratitude, the more it becomes a natural part of your thought process, infusing your days with a sense of contentment and appreciation. This practice not only enhances your self-worth, but also helps you approach the world with greater kindness, empathy, and joy. Ultimately, gratitude is a reminder that self-worth is not something we earn. It is something we recognize and embrace. It teaches us to celebrate who we are, rather than constantly striving to become someone else. It helps us to see the beauty in our imperfections, the strength in our struggles, and the value in our unique journey. Through gratitude, we learn to honor ourselves and our lives, cultivating a sense of worth that is rooted in appreciation and love. When we live with gratitude, we step into a world of abundance, a one where we are enough exactly as we are, and in a world often driven by the pursuit of success and individual achievement, the spirit of competition can dominate many aspects of our lives. Whether in our careers, personal lives, or even social interactions, we are frequently encouraged to measure our worth against others, to outshine, outperform, and outdo. While a healthy dose of competition can sometimes motivate us, an excessive focus on competing with others can erode our sense of fulfillment and connection. It isolates us, turning potential allies into rivals and reducing life's rich relational experiences into a race to be won. In contrast, prioritizing connection over competition offers a much more meaningful and sustainable path to growth, fulfillment, and joy. Connection is the lifeblood of human experience. We are social beings, wired for relationships and a sense of belonging. When we focus on connecting with others rather than competing with them, we open ourselves to deeper understanding, empathy, and collaboration. True connection reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles or successes. It creates a sense of shared humanity where we see others not as threats, but as allies, teachers, and companions on the journey of life. One of the most profound benefits of choosing connection over competition is the way it enhances our personal growth. In competition, we often put up walls, driven by the fear of being outdone or overshadowed. These walls can prevent us from learning from others and recognizing their unique strengths. On the other hand, connection encourages vulnerability and openness. When we connect with others, we learn from their experiences, perspectives, and wisdom. We grow not by trying to surpass them, but by being inspired and enriched by what they bring to the table. Focusing on connection also fosters a sense of abundance rather than scarcity. Competition often stems from the belief that there is a limited amount of success, love, or happiness to go around. This scarcity mindset pits us against one another, making us believe that someone else's gain is our loss. Connection, however, reveals the truth. Life is not a zero-sum game. There is more than enough room for everyone to thrive, and someone else's success does not diminish our own. When we celebrate others' achievements instead of resenting them, we create an environment where mutual encouragement and support lead to collective growth and success. In professional settings, the choice to prioritize connection over competition can transform workplace dynamics. Instead of seeing colleagues as rivals, we begin to see them as collaborators. This shift fosters teamwork, creativity, and trust, all of which are essential for achieving shared goals. Organizations that cultivate a culture of connection often find that their teams are more innovative, engaged, and resilient. The energy that would have been spent on rivalry is redirected toward building something greater together. In our personal lives, prioritizing connection strengthens our relationships and enriches our experiences. Friendships, romantic partnerships, and family bonds thrive when we focus on understanding and supporting one another rather than comparing or competing. True connection allows us to be authentic, to share our triumphs and struggles without fear of judgment. It creates a safe space where we can be ourselves, knowing that we are valued not for what we achieve, but for who we are. Social media often amplifies the competitive mindset, encouraging us to curate and compare lives rather than connect authentically. The highlight reels we see online can lead to feelings of inadequacy and fuel the desire to outdo others. However, if we shift our perspective, social media can also be a tool for connection. By engaging genuinely with others, commenting with encouragement, sharing meaningful stories, or simply reaching out to check in, we can use these platforms to foster relationships rather than rivalry. Prioritizing connection over competition also cultivates a deeper sense of inner peace. Competition often leaves us feeling anxious and perpetually unsatisfied as we are constantly chasing an ever-moving target. Connection, on the other hand, grounds us in the present moment and reminds us of what truly matters. When we focus on building relationships, we tap into a sense of purpose and belonging that no external achievement can provide. This shift from competition to connection requires intentionality and self-awareness. It means recognizing when we are falling into the trap of comparison and consciously choosing to reframe our perspective. It means celebrating others' successes even when we feel like we are struggling. It means being open to collaboration and trusting that we have something valuable to contribute, even if our strengths look different from those of others. At its heart, choosing connection over competition is about recognizing our shared humanity. It's about understanding that we are all navigating life's challenges, joys, and uncertainties together.